Some sounds are not meant to be heard. They are echoes of moments that should have faded into silence, yet they linger. They get trapped in the magnetic dust of old tapes, in the digital bits of a phone call just waiting to be played, waiting to tell their story. These are not just noises, they are pieces of a soul, fragments of a life cut short, a mystery left unsolved. When we press play, we are not just listening, we are opening a door to a time and place that is no longer here. The energy, the fear, the desperation that remains. It reaches across the years and grabs hold of you, pulling you into its darkness. We go through our lives surrounded by noise, most of which we tune out. The hum of the refrigerator, the distant wail of a siren, the chatter of a crowd. But what if a sound could do more than just enter your ears? What if it could seep into your very being, leaving a chill that never quite fades? The recordings we are about to explore are like that. They are artifacts of pure dread. Prepare yourself. Let the echoes begin. The story begins in the early 1960s, a time of fierce competition between the United States and the Soviet Union. The space race was on, pushing the limits of technology, pushing the limits of human endurance to conquer the final frontier. But behind the Iron Curtain, the Soviet program was shrouded in secrecy. Failures were not an option, and when they happened, they were erased from history. Two Italian brothers set up a listening post, Achille Giovanni Battista Giudica Cordiglia, amateur radio operators pointing antennas to the sky, hoping to intercept transmissions from space, and they heard something they were never supposed to hear. In May of 1961, weeks after Yuri Gagarin became the first man in space, the brothers picked up a new signal. Faint crackling with static, unmistakably human. The Giudica Cordiglia brothers didn't just capture one lost voice from the cosmos. They claimed to have intercepted several. Their most disturbing recording, however, came in February of 1961, before Gagarin's official flight. While scanning the frequencies, they locked onto a faint, rhythmic sound. It was slow, steady, and deeply unsettling. It sounded biological. After filtering out the layers of static and cosmic noise, they realized with dawning horror what they were listening to. It was the sound of a human heartbeat and labored, painful breathing, broadcast from a capsule tumbling through space. There were no words, no calls for help, just this primal, terrifying sound of a body slowly failing. Imagine the scene. Two brothers in a makeshift listening station in Turin, Italy, huddled over their equipment in the dead of night. Through the speakers comes a sound from beyond our world, a sound that should not be there. It's the ultimate expression of isolation, a human being encased in a metal coffin, dying alone in the infinite blackness. The heartbeat grows weaker, more erratic. The breathing becomes shallow. The brothers listened, helpless, for several minutes as this anonymous cosmonaut's life ebbed away, their body drifting silently in orbit. Then, the signal faded, and the heartbeat was gone forever. Listening to this audio is an exercise in pure dread. The absence of a voice makes it even more terrifying. We are forced to fill in the blanks to imagine the person attached to that fading heartbeat. Were they conscious? Were they aware that their final biological rhythms were being broadcast across the globe? A faint SOS that no one could answer? The sound of the breathing is particularly harrowing. It's not peaceful. It's strained to fight for every gasp of air in a failing life support system. It's the sound of a body shutting down a machine running out of power, broadcast for anyone with the right equipment to hear. The Giudica Cordiglia brothers were deeply affected by what they heard. They weren't just collecting signals, they felt they were bearing witness to a tragedy. They documented their findings meticulously, presenting the tapes as evidence of the hidden cost of the space race. They believed they were honoring the memory of these lost pioneers. In the winter of 1959, a group of 9 experienced hikers set out into the Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union. Led by Igor Dyatlov, they were attempting a difficult trek to a mountain named Otorten. They never made it. When a search party was finally sent to find them, they discovered a scene of baffling horror. The hikers' tent was found sliced open from the inside. Their belongings were left behind. The hikers themselves were found scattered across the snowy landscape, miles from their camp, some with horrific, unexplained injuries. The investigation that followed only deepened the mystery. The hikers had fled their tent in a panic, running into the sub-zero darkness without proper clothing or shoes. Some were found with massive internal injuries, crushed ribs, fractured skulls, yet they had no external wounds, as if they had been squeezed by an immense, invisible force. One hiker was missing her tongue. One of the cameras recovered from the scene was found to have been used to record audio. It was a makeshift recording, a final message left in the dark, frozen moments before the end. This audio fragment, though brief and distorted by wind, is the stuff of nightmares. It captures the chaos and terror inside the tent just before the hikers fled. You can hear muffled screams, panicked shouts, a strange, low humming or rumbling sound that seems to originate from outside the tent. The voices are indecipherable, lost in a flurry of wind and panic. It's the sound of a group of people realizing that something terrible and inexplicable is happening to them. The audio tape from the Dyatlov Pass incident is short, less than a minute long, but its impact is just immense. It's the only sonic evidence from that horrifying night. When you listen to it, you are transported right into that tent, into the freezing darkness with them. You can almost feel the fabric of the tent shaking, not just from the wind, but from this sense of pure, unadulterated panic. What could they have seen or heard out there in the desolate wilderness? The recording offers no answers. The Dyatlov Pass audio, it forces us to confront a truly terrifying possibility, that the hikers were not alone on that mountain. The strange, low hum is the key. It pushes this tragedy into the realm of the paranormal and even the otherworldly. Was it the sound of a secret military craft? Or something not of this world? Traces of radiation on their clothing add fuel to these theories. A bizarre and horrifying encounter. The recording's psychological impact is profound. A direct line to the group's final moments of fear. We can hear their unity dissolve into chaos. These were skilled, disciplined individuals. For them to abandon their training, their equipment, and their shelter suggests a threat beyond comprehension. The audio captures the moment their expedition shattered. 9 minds breaking under incomprehensible horror, forced to flee into certain death. It whispers of an unknown, hostile force in the wilderness. Our final recording is more modern, but, it's no less terrifying. It comes from August 30th, 2013. Bryce Laspisa was a 19-year-old college student driving from his girlfriend's house in Northern California back to his parents' home in the South. It should have been a straightforward 9-hour drive, but something happened to Bryce along the way. He began acting erratically. He called his parents multiple times, sounding disoriented and strange. At 2:08 a.m., Bryce made his final known contact. This is where the audio comes from. The call is brief, but deeply unsettling. He sounds dazed, his voice slow and slurred. "I don't feel good." The call ends. It was the last time anyone ever heard from Bryce Laspisa. A few hours later, Bryce's SUV was found, but Bryce was gone.